The only 3 manifestation practices that I'm using in 2026 are the ones that I'm about to tell you, okay? So these are the only 3 manifestation practices that I'm using in 2026, and they are not TikTok trends. They are not things that I read in a book. These are neuroscience and neuroscience based. This isn't woo-woo. This is this is you attracting and becoming the magnet that you've always been, and you didn't know, so we're going to unearth it right now. So first thing, the first practice that we are going to do is, I want you to understand this, so I'm going to say it a couple of times, and then I want you to repeat it back to me. Are you ready? Your brain believes what you repeat. Your brain believes what you repeat. What does your brain believe? What you repeat. What does your brain believe? What you repeat. Why? Okay, we're going to get into that in just a second. So we have to talk about the neuroplasticity, why affirmations fail, and why your identity is not clicking, and so therefore you're not manifesting as that version of yourself. All right, so first of all, one of the first things that you have to understand is that you need to create affirmations that are neural-based or neuron-based affirmations, okay? You can't expect to say an affirmation at 8 o'clock in the morning and then by 12 o'clock have that still in your brain. And we know from Dr. Joe Dispenza's book, Becoming Supernatural, that at the end of our brainstem, it can only hold about 4 hours of this neuroplasticity. And so as you say it in the morning, after you have your coffee or whatever, it wears off in a little while because it's not neural based. So you have to start understanding how to create affirmations differently. The second thing that is so important is that repetition rewires your neural wiring. So if you've never seen a neural pathway being created, it's very interesting. Go to YouTube and watch a neural pathway being created, okay? You're going to see how it forces this new pattern, this new way for your brain to think, because what happens in your prefrontal cortex, you've already decided on what you're going to be because of your reticular activation system. So your brain believes what you repeat. And so you're going to come up with affirmations that are neural based, and you're going to be doing that at the top of the morning within the first 30 seconds, 2 minutes of the morning. And then you have to make sure that these affirmations are quantum identity based as well. So you want them being identity action based, and because that will lead to you being intentional about the work. And so your brain is stuck on pause, and it goes back to what it's already known, because the reticular activation system and the amygdala are already wired to what your fears are. And so in order for the affirmations to actually work, you're going to have to take those 3 steps to change what's happening in here. All right. So once you understand that, it's the neural pathology, it's the consistency, because it's not magic, okay? A lot of people want to dismiss manifesting, not understanding the quantum field of energy, but I'm going to break it down. I'm breaking it down for you right now so you will understand this, and hopefully you understand it right now. Because when you base things in neuroscience, the quantum field is going to adjust, and it goes back to the Albert Einstein saying, if you match the frequency and the vibration, it must appear. This is physics. So I do these neural-based affirmations that I teach inside of Manifesting Miracles Academy, my community. And if you click right here, January, February, every month, the first month that you join is free. And so inside of my community, I teach you this in our workshops, in our audio classes, and in my live classes. But this is the basics so we can get through it. So when you're creating an affirmation, we're going to be repeating it multiple times a day. I'm on the 9s. So everybody works differently, but for me, a 9 is going to be best. So I'm going to say my 9 affirmations 5 times a day that are neural-based, action-oriented, and match my quantum identity. So what's step 2? Step 2 is understanding that an unsafe nervous system blocks everything that you want to manifest. A nervous-based, an unhealed, an unregulated nervous system. You get frustrated. You want to throw your phone at the wall. You want to throw your computer. You start punching things. You start screaming. You get angry. You get elevated too easily. Babe, you're not in control. Okay? All of your emotions are in control. All of your triggers are in control. All of your fear is in control. You need to start doing the audio, the classes. You need to start doing the work to get yourself into a place to regulate yourself, okay? Because an unsafe nervous system doesn't work. So when you regulate, you have more capacity to allow more things in. And when you regulate, you can see opportunities that you feel were fears before. They could have been triggers before. They could have been identity quantum leaping readjustments. You're saying that you're always financially stable, but you're not actually always financially stable. So it sounds like you're lying. And so when that happens, your brain is not identifying with that quantum identity. It's a reverting back to the one that it really believes, that this is too hard, that this isn't not yet, you're not enough, et cetera, et cetera. So let me give you an example. A few years ago, they did a study with zebras in the Serengeti. And if you can imagine, here I am wearing this zebra colored top, thinking of this, not really zebra top, but imagine having all these stripes, okay? And you're out here in the Serengeti, and there's very limited watering holes. And so here you are with your all colorful self, and you walk up to the watering hole. So what they did was they measured the cortisol in the spikes and lowering of zebras. And what happened was whenever a zebra walked up to the watering hole, their cortisol shot up so high, they were nearly having a panic attack or a heart attack every time they went to go drink, every single time. They were absolute decimated in fear. I mean, they just went from like chill zebras to like, oh my gosh, we're going to get murdered. We're going to get dissected. Like it's going to happen. And then what happened? Within 5 minutes of leaving I think it was less than 5 minutes, within 3 minutes of leaving the watering hole, the zebra would go back to its pre-stressed rate. Do you want to know why I'm telling you this? Because you are the zebra from 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago. You still think that you're in fight, flight, fear, or fornicate, so you're triggers. And so people piss you off and things happen because you have not regulated that nervous system. And unlike a zebra, you don't have the natural ability to just regulate. So you're going to have to understand and do that with audio classes, with techniques. So one way that you can do that is right before you go to sleep, I want you to imprint something that removes that stress anxiety. Why? Because our subconscious mind is only accessible when we are meditating, when we're asleep, when we're driving, and when we're in the shower. So you really want to get that imprint into your subconscious mind right as you're going to sleep. Might as well let it work while you're sleeping. Another thing that you can do is your mind-body connection. So you can do things to regulate your nervous system when you're in a trigger. Now, that doesn't mean that you've healed the amygdala or the prefrontal cortex. That doesn't mean that your stress has collapsed completely. But here are some techniques. You can do EFT tapping, okay? You can do humming. If you hum for 1 to 2 minutes, your entire vagus nerve from your head to your toe, which is your largest nervous system in your body, it goes from panicked zebra and the Serengeti to chill AF, okay? And you can do humming, you can do tapping, you can walk, you can ground yourself. There's so many different things that you can do to allow yourself to do that. You can listen to audio at night. I have an audio series right now in my community and my website. If you don't want to join my community, you can just buy the Sleep Subconscious Hypnosis series. And it's like, I think $11 a month. And you get 4 different sleep hypnosis meditations to listen to every single night. So every month you get a new one each week. And so kind of putting that into your subconscious mind, it allows your mind to do the work while you're asleep. And these are specifically written for you to manifest and for you to recalibrate. And over time, your brain, because you're repeating this over and over and over again, wakes up in a higher state of attraction. And therefore, when you're doing your morning routine, you're like 60, 70% more likely to get what you want. And you're more regulated, so you're more in control. And so the next thing that you can do is join communities, because when you have support, whether it's, if you're trying to have a sober year and you join AA, if you're trying to be more fit and you join some sort of health community, or if you want to manifest the biggest version of yourself, you want to have friends from around the world, you want to understand who you are, you're going to join Manifesting Miracles Academy. inside of my academy, I give you everything. You have sleep audios you can listen to. There's meditations. We have for January, it's reduce your nervous system audio class. So you have an energy class to reduce every single month. We have a workshop, and then we have a full moon work series. But inside that, we have manifestation and meditation banks that you can go and listen to. So you also have a forum, and then you can go and talk to everybody. You can go and talk to all of our community and make friends and make connections and have that energy of abundance within our own community. And that's called the Manifesting Miracles Academy. And so the Manifesting Miracles Academy is free for the first month. You get it? So right now, I'm going to gift it to you. Right now, if you go to this and you decide to join, the first month is free. And then after that, you're going to invest in yourself to the tune of $22 a month. So basically $5 a week to change your life. You can do this. Things will get easier once you start practicing and regulating yourself. Now, the third practice that I'm doing in 2026, in the year of the fire horse, to completely rewrite my story, is I'm going to understand that avoiding things is leaking my energy. So avoidance is an energy leak. So what you don't face runs you. What you don't face runs you, okay? So if you're unwilling to heal that trauma, you're going to try to bypass it with what? Some sort of addiction. Alcohol, food, drugs, sex, exercise, eating, not eating, being healthy, not being healthy, consuming too much of one thing and not of another. And so you avoid things by using an addiction to create more stability because your brain is triggered by it. And so you want to start doing things to monitor how you're avoiding things, and that creates an energy leak. And when you're leaking energy, what it means is that you're not putting your full force into one specific thing. That means that your brain is already triggered and that it can't. So you can't see the opportunities. You can't see the people. You can't see the money that's coming, the lover, the relationships. You can't manifest your significant other. You can't manifest money. You can't manifest any of those things because you're leaking energy. So if you're in a relationship with two people, who suffers? Both people. Because you're never your 100% self to one relationship. That's what manifesting is. You're not in a 100% I love this idea till death do us part with the idea. So then fear leaks, energy leaks, and all of these other things become triggers. So what are some of the things that you need to be doing? So raising awareness restores your power. So the second that you realize you're avoiding your bank account because it's too scary, then you realize that the neuroplasticity in this has to change. The second that you raise awareness that the relationship isn't working, you start being aware of either solutions or resolutions to leave. This continues to happen in every aspect of your life. And so once you look at that situation, the pressure of actually dealing with it gives you relief. And one of the ways, and some of the ways that you can do this is, I want you to do shadow work. Now, this is very, very, very important. And I want you to hear me when I say this. Please, journaling is not shadow work. Journaling is not shadow work. Getting out your journal and writing all the things that have happened is not shadow work. Shadow work from Carl Jung is a very specific technique. And yes, inside Manifesting Miracles Academy, there's all kinds of prompts for all kinds of work to do in shadow work. But if you don't want to do that, I have a whole shadow book, a digital shadow book that's like 20 books that gives you a whole year's worth of shadow prompts. And if you don't want to do that, go into an AI, tell it your problems, and then say, give me 100 shadow work questions that I can start writing on and working on in 2026. So that way, eventually, you will get to the original trigger and you will be able to remove that energy from yourself and really manifest in a way that isn't leaking energy, that isn't stuck in fear, that isn't drowning in sorrow, and that isn't triggered. And your subconscious mind has room to collect energy, have the quantum identity, reshape, refocus, and reset. And then facing the truth actually allows you to stabilize your quantum identity. And if you don't know what quantum identity is, you need to join Manifesting Miracles Academy. It's free the first month. And every single week, there is something for you to work on spiritually, energetically, psychically, science-wise. There's so much in my community because I didn't have a place for myself that I could be open and trusting and allow myself to be vulnerable and take classes that didn't cost $100 billion. The whole membership is, $100, something like that a year, 2 times 10. Yeah. So $200 for the year, $240 for the year, and you pay $20 a month. Seriously. And you get to take all of these classes and all of these courses anytime you want at your time. And if you can miss a class, everything's recorded. So if you have time at 2 a.m. and nothing is awake, you can go take a class. If you have time in the afternoon between 2 and 3, you can take an audio class. Every night you can listen to an audio message. There is a way through Manifesting Miracles Academy, and I'm the one that's creating it. So I'm making sure that everything in there is based on neuroscience, based on actual techniques that are ancient and modern, and all of the best ways that are making my clients go from $50,000, $60,000 a year to $200,000 a year to $400,000 to manifesting their babies, manifesting their significant others, changing their entire lives. And I promise you, when you go to my website and you see page after page after page after page after page after page after page of testimonials, those are actual real people. You can email them yourself. Nobody's been paid. Nobody's gotten a discount. That is because they are a completely different person. What if you spent all of 2026 using these 3 techniques to completely transform your life? These are not trends, okay? This is neural-based work around my Manifesting Miracles Academy and my live classes. This is how it happens. If you want to be like the success stories on my website, if you want to be somebody who is rewriting their history, rewriting their story, this is the time and these are the techniques to do it. And I want you to deep dive with me and go even deeper. And I want you to come inside the academy and learn. But right now, I need you to understand that your quantum identity is stuck in its triggers. And so therefore, you're manifesting exactly what you believe, that you're not enough, it'll never be enough, and you're not who you say you are. But you actually are. And you've been indoctrinated into a system that keeps you limited, trapped, and stuck. And I see you, and God sees you. And the highest version of you is already in this room, clapping and cheering because you're right here. So what are the 3 techniques, the only 3 manifestation practices I'm using in 2026? Affirmations, making sure that my nervous system isn't blocked, because when a nervous system is blocked, we can't manifest, and avoiding energy leaks and cleaning up all of my triggers. And so if this sounds like you and this sounds like something that you're ready to dive into, then you are perfect for this community, and it is your time to rewrite your story. You know what? The story of you dated for tomorrow has nothing on it. We all get the same 24 hours. But how you do it and what you do with it varies so significantly based on how much you've healed, how unstressed you are. The more stress, the more cortisol, the less dopamine, the more survival. You're just going to be a zebra running through the Serengeti until you die. And I don't want that for you. And you don't want that for you. And your higher selves and your angels brought you here to this podcast so you can transform. And not through woo-woo, but through science, through techniques, and through proven tactics that actually change your life. And I'm so proud of you. Your higher self is proud of you. Your future self is proud of you. So we're going to close this podcast like we close every single podcast. First, I want you to hear this because some people never hear this. You are enough. You are amazing. You are loved. You are needed. And you are divinely guided. Now, let's start and let's finish the first episode of 2026 the way that we always do. We say 2 things to close strong, 2 different quotes, and I want you to say it with me. First is, Everything is always working out for me 3 times, soft, medium, and loud. And then everything is always working out for us, same. And then we say everything, everything, everything. You got it? Let's go. 3, 2, 1, us. Everything is always working out for us. Everything is always working out for us. Everything is always working out for us. Me, me, me. Again, everything is always working out for me. Everything is always working out for me. Everything is always working out for me. Everything, everything, everything. All right, my friends, it is time for us to end this podcast, but it doesn't mean that the learning stops. You can click right now in my show notes and get your first month of Manifesting Miracles Academy on your belt and in your phone right now. You can take a live class. You can go into my website and take a 7-day class for free. At least take some sort of action and tell yourself you are guidedly protected and you are guided here for a reason. All right, producers, cue that motherfucking music for the very first award-winning Manifesting Miracles podcast of 2026. I love you, baby, and cheers to a wonderful 2026. You got this, and I got you.